Hi, my name is Trevi.
And I'm Kate.
Oh, and I forgot my fucking earrings.
Wait.
Why do I do this? And welcome back to our podcast called 6 Feet Above. Woo! See how much elevating that is? I mean, the look has been elevated.
Okay, so you put in your small hoops, and I want to say that I wore small hoops this week, and like usually I'm in the big hoop. So I do want to say we're changing.
I
every
like
day.
that you're gold too, because it's like the
Right?
personalities. You're like the gold, and I'm the silver.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Like we're two peas in a pod. I don't
Okay.
know. Guys, if you are driving or trying to fall asleep, we have an audio version. Please click the link in the description. And once you're over there, before you listen, if you could rate us 5 stars over on the audio platform, it helps our podcast grow algorithmically and immensely on those platforms.
Okay, so
right.
guys, we're back.
We're so bad.
Wait, we've been back. I'm out of it.
You're out of it right now?
Yes, I
Okay.
took a shot of Dayquil today.
A shot of who?
Of Dayquil.
Okay. You
'Cause
better.
Since I got back from Miami, you know, you feel a little stuffy.
How was
when
that?
you're on the airplane. Hey, guess
Hey.
what? It was, I don't know, like, I don't even know if I should get into it right now, but all I do know is, like, I had my first bomb. Like, bomb.
You
like,
bombed a...
Like, I did a stand-up show. It was, like, really bad. Like, all my jokes that usually hit, it was so humbling, and it made me want to quit stand-up. And I was talking to this guy about it, and he was like, honestly, it's really, that means like you might actually make it with stand-up, because it's good that you can acknowledge that you bombed, because some stand-up comedians genuinely believe that they never bomb.
Right.
And it's like a part of the experience. But like, it was at a gym, this show, and everyone that went to the show was like a gym goer, super healthy. So when I went to my like bit about alcoholism,
Right.
it was, they literally were like, ooh.
But do they not realize that you're like, you changed that?
Yeah, but they're just like, I was like, all right, we're at a gym, like we can't relate, can we? And it was bad.
I feel like that's so fucked up, because I feel like most people who have like fitness passions or like really love fitness
Are fucked up.
well, they had a reason to why they got into that. Why they got into
Yeah, like
caring
mental
so-
health.
Yeah, well,
Like
caring so much about
right.
their health. It's either like, you know, people wanted to change the way that they looked because they didn't feel comfortable in their bodies,
Yeah.
or it's like mental health thing, like you just said. And it's like, I
Right.
feel like everyone has a story which led them to like caring so much about that. Same with my mom and like her yoga stuff. And I think that's just like, if you can't find humor in that and see my girl as a person, I mean, she got through it too. Like, that's just, I don't know. I feel like that's so rude and prissy, and it's very Miami.
You know what? It's bombing's part of the experience, but like
course.
what I don't love is after I had 2 little sly remarks. First of all, this girl comes up to me and we're talking, and she's like, "How long have you been doing stand up?" And I was like, "Oh, 6 months." And she goes, "Oh, then you did great." And I was like, "So you want to fight now or later?" And then this other girl was like, "I'd love to help you write." And I was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." It was
backhanded as
so
fuck.
backhanded, and she did really well. So I was like, "You're a bitch." Like, it's hard because like I'm a Leo, and like
Yeah.
I'm just smashing my pride and my ego.
Yeah.
But
That's what it's all about, though.
yeah, there's more Miami lore. But bombing sucks. But what sucks more is being deathly ill.
Yes.
Right? And that's what you experience.
Yes, it is what I experienced. Yeah, so what happened is we took a week off, and then we came back last week. But that episode we actually filmed before. How do I say this?
It was like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, we filmed it 2 weeks before, and I couldn't edit it because I was on my deathbed. So we pushed it back a week rather than me just getting it out and being sick. If that makes any sense. At literal hell ever all. Long story short, I wake up one morning, and it's like I'm freshly back from Tahoe, and I'm like expecting myself to be sick. Okay. And
Great.
I thought, well, it's just like, you're so cold. I was like in a bodysuit
Right.
and fucking heels in the snow for
Right.
like, I just,
for the gram.
yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. And I woke up like 2 or 3 days later, and I'm like, oh, I think I have strep. By the way, to preface, this has nothing to do with Tahoe. I literally just thought it was, and that's like what was so annoying, is that I think my brain just led me to rule that scenario out rather than any other ones. There's 12 people in a else. I'm sure somebody, you know, I was like thinking in my head, like I probably sipped somebody's water bottle and now I have strep.
It was vodka. Yeah.
It was so vodka. I mean, then I wouldn't have gotten it because it would have killed the germs.
No, literally.
But yeah, so I like telemedicined with a urgent care doctor now that I have insurance, gag it. And I was just like, it's the worst pain I've felt in a long time. I can barely swallow. And he's like, yeah, it does sound like strep. And I like sent him a picture of the back of my throat and he's like, yeah, well, you do look kind of red. And it was just like,
it's just me.
how much more can you do though as a telemedicine doctor? Like I was gonna be annoyed if I didn't get sent antibiotics.
Right.
So he just did. He sent antibiotics and I picked it up and I was like, okay, this is gonna work. And I'm taking it and I wake up the next day, it's worse. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna trust that these antibiotics are gonna do their thing. I wake up the next day, day 2 of antibiotics. It is 10 times worse. And then I like start to realize, I'm like, this has nothing to do with a bacterial infection.
Oh my God.
This has nothing to do with strep. This is a different feeling. Because you know, like when you have a sore throat, it's like that scratchy
There's
feeling.
There's nothing worse.
Yeah.
Swallowing knives.
But if you have like a esophageal, I don't know how to say that, esophagus injury, like a GERD thing. Sorry, I hate that word, but I have GERD. You know what? I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
And I realized it was like a GERD moment, like a stomach acid.
Can you give my girl a break?
No,
like I'm kind of begging.
I'm literally saying. Anyway, to make a long story short, besides the jelly beans in my ass,
right.
of course, I stopped the antibiotics. I was just sitting in my bed, like I wasn't able to eat. I was just like sipping water lightly. I was having like 2 bites of things a day. I was like losing so much weight because I couldn't swallow anything. And then by like day 4, my mom's like, this is insane. She drives up from San Diego and like literally like I haven't showered. Like I'm just sitting there like miserable. Like, you know, like when you're in so much pain, you can't even like watch TV.
You're like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I'm never going to get better.
It's like I'm never going to get better. And I couldn't even like watch TV or focus on like anything to distract me.
Oh my God.
And I'm just sitting there in bed and I'm just like in my own misery. So she takes me to the ER and then I'm going to use what happens at the ER off my chest. But yeah, it was the same week. I mean, that thing happened at that work setting where the person misgendered me, which is like a whole other thing that
but what did you have though in your throat?
Well,
or are you waiting that for off a chest?
I'm gonna do that for off my chest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for off my chest. It was like a gastro, like a esophagus, stomach acid thing, like esophagitis.
That is so brutal.
No, it was, but they like. Apparently, I went to that hospital before I transitioned, and like when I checked in, I like gave them my ID, my social, my insurance, like all this information that has like all my updated. And for some reason, they still like pulled up like the old file, and I told him, I was like, if you have an old file, change it. And he's like, okay, I will do. And over the intercom, once they called me in, it was like, dead name Moran, and I was like, I literally look at the guy who's supposed to change it, and I'm not ever about this shit. But I asked him twice, and he like was so difficult, and his coworkers were literally like telling him, they're like, oh, that's not a problem if it's all legally changed. And he was like, well, I don't know about a state ID versus
oh
a
my
driver.
God.
And I was just like, oh my God. So then I look at him after they like said my dead name over the intercom. I looked at him, and I was like, this is exactly what I did not want. Thank you so much.
Good.
And yeah, it was gaggy, and then he just like sucked my ass.
Good.
And like, I don't know.
I'm glad.
Like, you know,
you're like, do you know who the you're talking to, bitch?
Guys, I hate to interrupt you in the middle of this episode, but if you could like, comment, subscribe, and ring the little notification bell. I know it sounds like a lot, but it takes 2 seconds, and it would help you to push our channel out to more like-minded people like you. I almost just stuttered. Okay, I'm safe. Back to the episode. A week and a half. I'm almost 2 weeks now, and I'm not fully still able to swallow everything.
So it hurts right now.
Like, I was having a few sips of Celsius today, which is obviously terrible for acid reflux. And as it went down, it felt like it was, like, burning.
Does it hurt right now as you're talking?
No, but if I, like, were to sip a Celsius, or, like, probably anything with, like, tomatoes in it, like salsa or, like, pizza. I want pizza so bad.
Yeah.
I haven't had pizza in so goddamn long.
God.
But, yeah, it was...
Look what she's doing,
It
you
was
guys.
deathbed.
She's showing up for us.
I'm showing up. I haven't done my makeup in 2 weeks, too. I just feel good to be glam
being
with you.
sick makes you feel like a uggo. It sucks.
It did, but you know what? I spent so much time without makeup that I kind of started to like get used to my face.
Okay, so not what I said. I'm like, it's actually great.
But no, it is great. I mean, I obviously was just like the entire time trying to just take care of myself as much as
It's a
I
nice
could.
break.
It was a nice
It's
break.
like no self-tan, no makeup. It's just
Yeah,
really...
the no self-tan was kind of crazy. I was ghostly.
The skin looks great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, that's my tangent. Enough about that. I'm not too ill anymore. We're here.
Thank God. Been a wild week.
What did you do yesterday, Kate? Do you want to tell them?
Okay, I gotta be honest, you guys. I do think there's like something... I don't think I'm dyslexic, but there's gotta be something wrong with me because I'll be so sure of certain things and they will just not be correct. And actually, I have like looked at an address and it's been like 432 and I'm like, oh, 343. So maybe I don't know what that is. But anyways, I digress. Yesterday, it's my roommate's birthday and I was like, hey, like, we got to do dinner early because I got to record tonight and like I'm like rushing home to record. I'm like, I put full glam on and I'm texting Trevi. I'm like, I didn't post for questions. Like, can you please post? And then Trevi was like, hey, why? Like, we're recording tomorrow. And I'm on the way to Beverly Hills in full glam in my push-up bra. And I was like, it was so embarrassing. I was just like, and I wasn't going to tell anyone, but here I am. I just don't know what's wrong with me. Like, it might be the Dayquil, but I really like, or the blacking out, the years of blacking out. Sometimes I just like forget things. Yes, it like completely goes over my head, and I think I need an assistant.
I think so too, but I also
really
don't think
need
it's
one.
like you forgetting things. I think it's more so you making them up.
So I'm crazy.
You're insane.
I am.
No, I mean, I do the same thing with certain things where I'll think that it is on Friday when it's actually on Monday. It's just because I want it to be or something, or I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I was really... You sent me the selfie in the car.
Me in this exact outfit.
And her in this exact outfit. And I was in a session and I was just like, I felt so bad. Because like, if you weren't, I honestly would have just slapped on makeup and just met you there and asked Bria if she was there. But like, I don't even... Yeah, I just felt really bad.
No, it was crazy. I mean, even like that show I'm producing with my friend, which by the way, we sold out.
No
way. It's on Sunday. But I'm so thankful to have him because like I will just miss details. He'll be like, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that. And I'm like, I could have never done this alone. Like I'm not detail oriented.
What, with the show?
Yeah, it's just like there's all these little things that like I cannot focus on. My friend just asked me to be her kid's godmother. And I'm terrified.
Wait, your friend just asked you?
Yeah, to be her kid's godmother. And I'm like...
What's the exact definition of that if something happens to the parent?
Yeah, then I'm going to have a kid.
What did you say?
Well...
Or how did you say no?
Well, I reached out... Exactly. I reached out to my Grecian family. And I was like, hey. And they were like, you're not in good standing with the Greek church. And I was like, that's not true. I just like don't go. And they were like, you don't even know how to make Greek food. And I was like, that may be true. But you know, exactly. And you know what? I said, no, I'm going to be a godmother. So I'm going to that baptism.
Fairy.
Right. I was like, baptism fairy. But no, so like I kind of am a mom.
Wait, same, because my kids are in the freezer.
Wait,
we're a mom podcast.
Yeah, I need you to help me be a godmother though, because like, but I'm gonna be a cool one. It's gonna be great, but you know, I'm a little nervous. I have imposter syndrome because I am so like bad. And when I told her I was like, yes, I'd love to be the godmother. She was like, great. There's some stuff you got to fill out. I'll send you that. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta fill this out.
Oh, it's like legal shit.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I thought it was just always like a spiritual or like.
I gotta be honest, I have no idea. I don't know what this baptism is gonna be like. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to hold the baby. Like, I don't know what
You're baptizing the baby?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Are you baptized?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think.
That is such a, like, not funny, but like, that's such like a, like, I do think about baptisms sometimes, and I'm just like, so everyone's really getting together to go swimming like that.
Isn't it? I really think I was baptized. I'm like 99% sure.
You give baptized,
right? Like I do.
Yeah.
But
do I?
Because I'm Greek Orthodox.
No, I give like fiery pits.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Get it.
Fiery pit.
Would you get baptized now? If I was like you, well, since me and you are probably gonna end up together,
Was it gonna fuck up my spray tan?
I would, yeah. I would like you to get baptized with a Greek church if we end up together.
Isn't that like that's Catholicism?
Greek
Or-
Orthodox?
What is that? What religion is that?
Greek Orthodox?
Is that its own thing? There's
Yeah.
so many I can't keep up.
You know, it's not Catholicism. Don't fact check.
So you don't.
It's
even,
not. No, I
you're
do.
not
no.
in good standing.
No, I am. I'm Greek Orthodox. I went to 3-hour masses every Sunday growing
Really?
up. I'm like a Greek. But honestly, being a godmother, hey, this is actually the most boring thing anyone has ever heard. I don't care. Being a godmother, I'm like, I want to start going back to church and like,
Really?
you know, start getting in touch with my Grecian roots again.
Okay.
Get to know her.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's admirable.
So guys, I'm a mom now. It's kind of crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'd go to church with you.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I don't know the culture of Greek Orthodox and like people like me being in there. Like, I know what would
Right.
happen if I went to like a Christian church.
Slade.
It'd be side-eyed boots.
Right.
But like, I know there's some that are just like less intense feeling about that.
Yeah.
Are the Greek Orthodox people, are they very like Trumpy?
They're like all gay, but they're like homophobic.
Good.
Right.
So every single religious person.
I mean,
is-
Greek is so gay. Like back in the day, like they invented anal sex. It's like a thing.
You can't just invent anal sex.
No, they did. Like
You don't think someone was gonna eventually get to that?
no, it was the Greeks. Like to be Greek is to be gay. It's like
To be Greek is to have anal.
it's like so true.
So I'm Greek.
No, like all Greek men are like super hairy and obsessed with other men and super gay with other men, but like hate their wives. I mean, obviously, this is why I'm not in good standing with the church because I say things like
That's-
this.
I mean,
but
you're
it's like
saying
true. But I still think about my Greek man, obviously, and I think we could have had something beautiful. But
I hooked up with a Greek guy. Like,
oh, I'm like, was it
She,
him?
like, scrolls out the scroll. You're like, I
You're
know every
Greek
single one.
now.
I am Greek now.
Tell me everything. When was it?
Rue, when was this?
Rue, when was this?
It was like, I want to say it was like a month ago.
I'm sorry. Okay, we're like in a fight because
What?
you don't tell me enough about your life.
I'm sorry. I'm a
Now I'm
private
mad.
person.
No, you're not.
Literally.
You shared your
ever-
location with me, which was a big deal because you don't do
You
that
still
with
have it?
bitches.
How many
I
times
don't
do you see me
know.
at the liquor store? Don't answer that.
Stop.
I'm like, how many times?
10.
I'm like, how many times do you see me in Koreatown?
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
Y'all want to know about Koreatown?
Come on now.
Yeah, that's where I used to get my droids.
Drakes. Wait, so Greek guy, who was he hairy?
He wasn't like extremely hairy. I think he was mixed. But wait, I have to tell you something actually.
Okay.
I-
Change subject.
Yeah, no, I feel like I had so many off my chest that I could have done, but this one's like just more so like positive, I suppose. So
you can do 30. Let's just do a full
whole
episode of Off My
Wait,
Chest.
gratitude?
Wait. I'm begging.
So when my mom picked me up, you know, because I was borderline bed sores, like
Right.
in my bed, rolling around in my own like misery and energy, she was like, "We're gonna go to San Diego," and then after like me laying in bed there, like my hair was a disaster. Like,
Greece.
yeah, just Grease City. It was like Knott's City. I didn't care to put my hair in a bonnet. I was just like, my ends were just like backflips and
Right.
and I was like, I need to go get my fucking hair done. Okay? And thing about San Diego is that I think with a lot of beach cities, there's always more so 50-50, maybe 60-40 political split.
Right.
Beach cities are more common to have like a higher statistic of people that don't like me, right?
Conservatives
Politically.
love a boat.
Yeah. No.
Would it kill a liberal to get a boat?
Would it kill a liberal?
And invite us.
No, would it kill a liberal? That podcast clip absolutely fucking sent me, by the way. Like, absolutely sent me. Anyway, so I always get a little bit, like, anxious when I go anywhere in public in San Diego. Like, it's just, I'm still trying to get over it.
Yeah.
But I had to muster up the courage, and I found a salon that was able to take me, that was close to my mom's house. And I'm like really, I don't know what it is, but I'm like really, I don't know if it was what happened last week with what happened on that work environment, but I'm like terrified of turfs right now. Like just turf down boots. Like I'm not trying to take your womanhood from you type shit. Like
Oh
those
my
people that are just like
God.
absolutely like,
You never
can't
had it.
and it's so,
It's like, what does that even mean?
it's
like-
so terrifying to me. And
Yeah.
so I think when I go to like a salon in San Diego, I'm just like feeling like it's potentially Turf City. And especially just, you know, closer to the beach, probably just like older woman, like working a salon. It wasn't like a dry bar or anything where it's like, so I was just really, really anxious and I needed to do it though. So I was like, it. If I'm going to get judged, I'll talk about it on the podcast. And
Lore.
I have never had this happen to me. And it was just like, it honestly felt like spiritual because it was like right place at the right time. I literally, out of every single person that I could have been with at that salon, I picked just a random person on the website. And when I showed up, beautiful 6-foot trans girl.
Oh my God.
Like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like absolutely stunning.
Yay.
And I was just like, oh my God. Wait, this is so,
okay.
and it was just in such,
The universe.
because I was having a moment right before where I was like, I really don't want to go. Like I'm scared of like getting judged.
Yeah.
And I just ended up, you know, I honestly didn't even know at first. And she told me like halfway through and I was like, no, because she said
Did she know you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It's because she was just super honest with me. And it was just, I feel like I made a new friend in San Diego.
that's so
I got her number too. I was like, I'd
fun.
love to hang out with you. And
Wait, I'm
I just
obsessed.
don't have that many friends in San Diego, let alone like anyone like
Yeah.
semi-LGBT.
Right.
She was saying though, it was really funny. I feel like I'm spilling her tea, but she said that a lot of times like the woman, like the older woman who come into the salon and don't know, like she just doesn't tell them. They always like ask her, like if she like is gonna get pregnant one day, and she always just like, yeah, I think
Oh my God,
just
I'm
fucks
dead.
with them back.
Good.
Yeah,
It's not their business.
it's not their business, but
Yeah.
I really found it to be such a refreshing conversation.
Wait, that's so great.
Yeah.
Oh
Isn't
my
that
God.
everything?
Yeah, you were so nervous, and then the universe was like, "Hey, guess
The dolls
what?"
know the dolls, for sure.
And that's that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that. You know what? But she wasn't off-putting, and I'll say that.
She was not off-putting.
Yeah. But you know who is? Everyone in New York.
Every single person in New York.
Okay, me and Trevi were reminiscing on
We're
this.
moving back.
Yeah, we're okay. Well, first of all, we do the fact that I was like, "Would you ever move back to New York?" And you said in a second, and I was like, "Wait, I want to move back to New York one day, and we might live together." And we were like, "That would be amazing." But then 5 minutes later, we were like, "What if we end up hating each other?"
I mean, we always have this conversation
I know.
of like,
We can't do it.
I think we could. What if we just went for like 2 or 3 months, or 1 month,
Yeah,
and just see what we did and see how we worked?
I guess so. Yeah,
'Cause-
because don't you love living alone?
Absolutely.
Right. So it's
But
like,
if we found a place that was like separate enough,
but we were reminiscing on a mutual friend we had in New York that was just like so weird, and we wanted to talk about people that we find strange.
are we mean girling? They're so weird. That was the thing I got always in school, by the way.
That you were a mean girl?
No,
Oh.
I wasn't a girl.
You were, but
I was not at the time, but I did feel like one. The thing is,
I guess, yeah, weird's a bad word because people call us weird.
yeah, but I take it as a compliment now. That was the
Yeah.
one thing that people always called me in school. It was never like, obviously it was never ugly because, hello.
I know, literally.
And it was never like, I mean, I always got like, but like the actual thing that like everyone would say is like, you're weird. Like you're
Yeah,
weird. And I'm like,
same.
ugh. But now it's the gaggiest thing to say to an adult, especially with
know.
the tone you say. It's kind of a slay sometimes.
It
If
is.
someone does something like sketchy to you, my favorite thing is just to go, you're weird. It
or
hurts.
weirdo is evil.
Weirdo is childish and crazy in my opinion.
Oh, I think it's like he's a weirdo. I'm like, oh my God, I'm staying away from him
Oh,
forever.
weirdo, like that gives me like assault energy.
Yeah.
Like
for
that's a
sure.
different type of weird. But if someone's
Right.
like scammy or sketchy, no
Yeah.
oh.
Weird.
We're starting a dictionary.
Okay, no, because this girl was scammy. That's what it was. She was scammy and sketchy. Our
Who?
mutual friend in New
Yes.
York. She wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't like. She was weird in that way. Like, definitely had like a double life of some sort. Like, was just like so. I was so uncomfortable when I was around her, and she would ask me to do the craziest things that like no one should ask someone to do.
I just don't. I don't remember much about her because my brain loves to block out traumatic moments. Hence, like why I don't remember my childhood at all.
Yeah.
So she must have been like pretty bad. This was a person that worked in recovery, like close within our community.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would always see this person, and there was like I never really got the vibe, and this is so insane, but I feel like I can tell when someone like this is insane. I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth right now. So
no, it's real.
I feel like I can tell when someone was actually addicted to drugs. And alcohol.
Absolutely. It's yes.
There's a personality quirk. There's something in those eyes. It's like those like dead eyes. You have them.
Yeah, I do. No, literally.
But it was just like
the overcompensation too of like talking about it. It was like, what are you trying to prove to us? Like, I'm not going up to strangers and being like, yeah, that drug run was nuts and blah blah. Like, it was just too much spilling of the tea, too much overcompensating to where it was like, what are you trying to prove?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think she's
never done a drug in her life.
Ever!
Me as fuck.
No, not kidding. And you know what is also really crazy about that topic, and we won't name names, but I feel like when me and you were working in the sober living, it was the same.
You were working there?
I actually just
you literally
I
were.
was.
Yeah.
It was
you should have been paid.
I was a full-time job. I was entertaining the masses.
You actually were.
And apparently paying for everyone's bagels. Who ate my bagel? I still need to know to this day. That bagel was the only thing that sounded good, and it was raining, and I didn't want to go get a new one, and somebody ate my bagel. And I'll always be pissed about it to this day, 3 years later. But
I'm mad too.
No, you should be. Yeah. I think it also, not when me and you were at the sober living, not working.
Right.
I feel like that also goes the same with the clients. I feel like you can tell who is in there because they actually need help.
Yeah.
And versus someone you could tell that their parents put them in there because their parents are like hyper religious and think their kids are like on meth when they're really just like smoking weed a couple times.
Yes, there was a girl like that. She was like, I literally don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't.
She was there for like 8 months.
I know.
Longer, actually.
She was like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, honestly, I don't think you need to be. I never said that, but I was like, I really don't think.
Could you imagine?
I'm like, you should leave. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, like this? Yeah. That would be so insane to say to someone. That reminds me of that doctor, you know, the one that I always fucking talk about that was at my house. She's like, you're too young to be an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so
But I'd
so
say that
insane.
to that person.
Right.
She really wasn't.
No, I mean, even getting that job, it's like, all you have to do is be an alcoholic to get that job. Literally. And 3 days of training.
Well, I'm sorry, but every single person that worked in
should not have been employed.
Besides you.
Not including me.
No, I never had any issues
I was
with
great.
you. I think you were fabulous. But like really now that I'm like, I really want to get more into sober living, Lauren. I know we talked about this. Just it's because it's such a vital part of us meeting that like I really go and I think of all the women that worked in that house, not a single one had all the screws in.
Oh, absolutely. You have to be like low key, kind of nutso. For those that don't know, we met at a sober living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was working at a sober living and Trevi was a client. A sober living is a house where
you live soberly.
You live soberly and learn to acclimate to everyday life. Anyways, yeah, no, a lot of the people working there, I would like see the way they interact with clients and I was like, this is actually very inappropriate. And I know I sound like I'm like sucking my own ass. People would literally tell me, Kate, you are the most boundaried person that's ever worked here. And I agree. You
really were.
Yeah. I don't want to hang out with you guys.
You wanted to hang out with me, but you had to get it approved.
No, yeah, exactly.
That was we got it approved from the higher ups.
We did. You're the only one I ever did that with.
That's insane. That actually feels like that. You know how good that makes me feel? Because I feel like I was in and out of rehab so many times and I like became friends with so many staff members and like once it was like all done I was like, oh damn, they were just doing their job.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, bye. And that's how it is for the most part because like once you've been working in recovery, you're so like once that person moves out, you're like, yep, never again.
Yeah, I'll see them in 3 months.
Yeah.
when they're back here. Yeah.
Yo, it's actually crazy and so sad like how many girls. There was a girl there for a year and she like finally got out and then she like went on a Tinder binge and 7 dudes a day and then was back on crystal meth and back in the house. And I'm like, that is so sad. It's like,
wow.
It's so sad. It's like there are certain people where it's like no one's hopeless ever. But it's like it sucks that some people have it like way worse than others, you know?
Yeah. It was, I mean, I'm just really thinking about the characters that were there.
Yo. go off.
I-
Which one?
Who else was there? A lot of people were 6 foot too.
Which, like, thank God, because there's not enough 6 foot alcoholics.
No, we should be the only two though.
I know.
But yeah, I really do think back at that, and I think I have a bad taste in my mouth, or I had a bad taste in my mouth about New York, just because it was such an intense moment in my life. I mean, our lives were just like getting sober in a whole brand new place without knowing anybody, and then just like being set free and trying to acclimate as an adult in like a 300 square foot apartment, and like being super claustrophobic. Like I never had enough, like, I'm born and raised in California, so I like don't have enough coats. I don't have enough, like, I didn't know how to dress. Like, it was just so cold and gray, and it's just but then, like, as the years went on and I had my space with it, like the last 2 trips I had in New York were just like so fun. But I don't think I could ever like live there again.
It's
like,
too much.
It is a lot, but it's super fun to go for like work. Like, if you know you have to do, like, I always feel like I have like the most like groundbreaking fun opportunities to do in New York, which is super fun. So I like love to do something in New York that is always going to be associated with something really awesome that I did. And I love New York for that.
It's too much walking. Like, I'm too grown for that now. Like, I can't believe I ever like city biked and walked everywhere. Like, my body can't handle that at my age.
Your age?
Yes. At my grown age, I'm just like, every time I'm there, I'm sweating. Like, I get my rashes come back. It's not, we can only live there part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say we do like a good 60 days, 90 days. Guys, I hate to interrupt you in the middle of this episode again. I'll make it quick. We are still releasing weekly bonus episodes on our Patreon, so please head on over to the description and support us, because we are a self-funded podcast. Okay, this is the segment called Off Our Chest, where we rant about something negative or rave about something positive that happened to us in the past week, and I would love for you to start.
I'm mad.
Yeah. Typically.
Right. I had something not so chill happen to me. So whatever, I go to Miami, I do my stand-up, and I come back, and the day I come back, this like guy that I like met in passing has been texting me. And he was like, do you want to go on a date? I know this like really good sushi spot. And I was like, you know what? I'm down. When do I date? So whatever, I meet him at the sushi spot. It's like fine.
Right.
I'm funnier than him, but like
As fun.
it's like, it's just like whatever, first date. And he mentions twice on the date, he was like, why don't you come back to my place? And I was like, no. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
He was like, okay. And I Ubered there, and we were quite far away, and the Uber home was like $60. And he was like, and also it was just like, he was very intense, and I know that I can say no, and I'm like trying not to hashtag victim blame myself. Like, I should have just been like, I'm just going to Uber home, like whatever, $60. Like, that sucks, but I can afford a $60 Uber. But
thanks to the Patreon.
Subscribe to the Patreon so I can get out of another bad date. And anyways, he was like, no, just like, I'll Uber us to my place. Like, I live right down the street, and then I'll drive you home. And I was like, okay, like, fine.
Right.
Shouldn't have done it. I know. I fucked up. Anyways, so we Ubered to his place, and he's like, just come up to my place. And I was like, wait, no. I already said twice that I'm not going to do that. And he goes, dude, you're like so awkward. Like, just don't be weird. Just come up. I'm not going to do anything. And he goes, I'm not going to, and says the R word. I'm not going to R word you. And I was like, wait.
Says every R word ever.
I was like, this is literally like when you like are like, I don't know.
No, it says every R word ever.
No, I know. It's like when you go by police and you're like, I don't have drugs in my car,
No,
it's like, I was so like taken aback.
Meanwhile, needles are falling out of the motor.
Right. And the way he said it too, like, hashtag trigger warning as fuck. He was just like, I'm not going to R word you. I'm not strong enough. He like tried to be like funny about it. And this is the problem, because he like knew I did stand up. He was trying to do like little bits the whole night. And I was like, hey, Don't get on that stage ever. You're not funny.
Yeah. Hey,
Ever.
ever.
And I was just like, this is so weird. Let me get in his car and have him drive me home, right? Because it was just like too awkward at that point. Like, I know I could have left, but I didn't. I was just too. He was like, all right, yeah, I'll drive you home. And I was like, okay. So we're like in this car and I'm like hating him so much because like I talked in one of the first episodes about sexual coercion and like I know we weren't like in a sexual setting, but just like the pressuring I hate. Obviously, everybody hates that. I hate being pressured by anyone, especially a man, when they're like, come on, come on. Like I talked about in one of the episodes, this guy was like trying to pressure me to like not use a condom. You loser. I know you still listen to this because he's in my DMs all the time.
Really?
Anyways,
Hey, you.
I'm like, leave me alone. Anyways, it just like I have, as you know, I like don't talk to men. I very rarely do in sobriety and like
Only when you're drunk.
right. And like I just haven't been like pressured like that in so long.
Yeah.
It like
It's weird.
took me aback. I hate that feeling and I hate that in the moment I didn't call it out. I was so stunned and felt so awkward and I was like convincing myself in the moment. I was like, no, this is fine. He just like wants me to go up to his place, so I'm gonna say no, blah blah blah. And anyways, he like drives me home and then he drops me off and he's like, what, we're not gonna make out? And I was like, no, like, oh my God.
Stop
like
talking,
I
dude.
just like it was so awkward and like I hated the feeling. And he made me feel like such a weirdo. Him being like, you're so awkward. Just like, why wouldn't you just do that? And I was like,
super reverse psychology.
exactly.
Like, fucked up.
If
Like,
I wanted to smooch him, I would have smooch him like anytime. When I feel comfortable with a man, I never for once think like, oh, well, maybe I should. Maybe I don't have to like convince myself of anything. I'm like, oh, no, I know I want to do this. Consent is hot. Like, what happened to that? And it's also the law, but like, I can't. It made me so mad. And then like, I don't know, him texting me after, like, he definitely does not think anything was weird, even though I was blatantly so uncomfortable and awkward. And I'm like a goofy gal. Like,
yeah, you are.
I'm not one to be like,
goofy girl.
Yeah, I'm awkward, but I'm not like I shut down. And it was just, made me so icked out. And
We'll never see him again.
well, yeah, never again. But I hated everything about that. But you know what? I'm proud of myself because like, usually I'd go down and I'd be like, I'm never talking to a man again. And I'm like, no, that guy sucks. And that's fine. But I'm open to dating. And I know I've experienced men that aren't like coercive. And I know the next man I go on a date with is not going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about in the last episode too, where I feel like I am actively in pursuit of changing my patterns of changing my intentions with somebody or like lowering my, how do they word it? Like sometimes I get weak when that stuff happens and I just give in because I want to hang out.
Yeah. And you
I give in to
convince
the
yourself
sexual
it's
pressure.
okay.
Yeah. And then it's like, what happens after that? Then now they just like won't only text me until like 11 at night. And it's like, good on you is all I'm saying. Like, because I feel like if I was actually into someone and that happened to me, like, I mean, at least a couple months ago, I would have just like been super weak and changed my standards for them.
It's not weak though, because like they're so good at manipulating in the moment and like we're not supposed to have to deal with that.
No,
it doesn't make you weak. It's just, and it's like the feeling the next day. Like I kept telling myself, I was like, do not go up to this man's apartment. I knew I wasn't going to, but I was like, don't even kiss him because you're going to feel like next day if you do. And I didn't want to, but anyway, that was a blast. So
damn, you got extra blush now.
I just had a attack, guys. Oh my God.
Oh, they know. I kept it in.
I'm not keeping that in. They're all going to log off.
Patreon. We good? Take your time. Take your time.
It's like dad's waking up in the morning, you know?
It's like,
yeah.
like, so every single bodily function. It's like, hey, shut up, dude.
Actually, shut up. Get it together.
I'm just gonna ask this once. Are you okay?
No,
Okay,
but like
good.
I'm fine.
That's what makes this show so good is that we're so not okay.
right.
And I
Stared at me in silence. I was like dying.
what
It
am I
was
gonna
so
do?
awkward.
Heimlich the saliva
No,
out of
it
you?
was just like so awkward. Anyways, all right, go on.
So I'm gonna step back into the ER for a second. This is gonna be my off my chest. Obviously, I think the dead name over the intercom was so. But let me just say something really.
I'm
quick.
begging.
Sometimes doctors, and especially like doctors in the ER, and I have trauma from this from always being in the ER with my addiction. So like they would always treat me like. But I feel like the ER treats addicts like.
Yeah, they're over it.
And they make you see I don't know, at least when I was there, it was always just like such attitude from the doctors. But I'm like not even there for an addiction issue. I'm like there with a separate issue, obviously. I mean, I'm there with an addiction issue, just not an active one. Hello. But what the f- is up with doctors and like the superiority complex and like thinking that like I understand you went to school for like X amount of years and you're like extremely educated in this field, but like, hey, I think I know my body.
Right.
I think I know how the fuck I'm feeling. And I think what was really annoying about this, because like it took 2 or 3 hours to finally see a doctor.
Hell on earth.
He comes back into the room. He's like, explain your symptoms to me. I tell him, I go, I thought it was strep. I don't think it's strep. I think it's like a GERD issue. Like I think there's potentially like a hole burnt in my esophagus with like stomach acid, or I like slept after I took a pill and the pill got stuck and like did also like burned a hole, because that like happens with antibiotics specifically. So it could have happened with the strep antibiotics, but regardless, like I know it's that. Like I know the difference between like a sore strep throat and like an esophagus GERD moment. And I was saying that to him, and I was like, I really like, I mean, I'm gonna be open and honest and say this, but like I got so bad to the point where I couldn't even swallow water. I was starving. I felt like my stomach was eating itself alive. And I was taking, so many Advil and Tylenol together that it was just tearing up my stomach. It was starting to hurt my back and my kidneys.
Oh my God.
So I was just like, I need real pain meds.
Right.
And I haven't ever gotten to that point where like I feel like I need to take an opiate pain medication. I had no choice. I was like, I need something so that I can leave here and I can go get something in my stomach and like just get some sleep, right? And he had no problem with that, and I never had a problem with opiates. I think like it was a weird and unsettling decision that I had to make, but like I had to make that decision for me, just because I was in so much misery. Because also like being in misery like makes you want to relapse, like on what what actually was your vice. So I was like, just help me out here. So he gave me pain medication. And the thing, obviously, why opiates are so addictive is because they don't really last that long. They last like 3 hours, right? They peak at like 2 hours.
Right.
Obviously, depending on the opiate. But the one, I asked for the weakest one.
Okay.
I think it was codeine. And I don't know if that's the weakest one, but I'm assuming it is. But he gives it to me. And then obviously within like 15 minutes, I'm starting to feel so much better. I'm starting to drink water. And they like didn't even have like food, so they had like saltine crackers, right? And like,
that's not good on the throat.
Like, I had to eat something because I was like eating myself alive. And he goes, well, before I actually let you go and refer you to like a gastroenterologist because you need to get an endoscopy, like all this. First of all, I came to the ER because I thought you guys had a gastroenterologist here. It's the fucking emergency room. Right. So what do you mean you're gonna recommend me to a gastroenterologist? Yeah. I came here to get an endoscopy. Like, put me under, champ. Like, let's figure out what the this is.
Begging.
And he's like, I'll give you the recommendations of that, but I need to run a test for mono. And this is where I'm talking about, like, I know my body.
Right.
It's not that type of pain. I don't have a fever. I don't have chills. I don't have any of these symptoms of mono. I don't have fatigue. I've been sleeping, but that's just because I'm miserable. But I was like, it's not mono. And he's like, yeah, I feel like we should just test it and make sure, right? I'm thinking he's going to take my blood and then let me know about it like tomorrow. Apparently they have a lab obviously in the ER, and he wanted me to wait for the results. The results take 2 more hours
Oh my God,
to come
no.
back. So I'm sitting there on the pain medication that's slowly starting to fade just because he wanted to get results for mono. I could have been out of there and gone through somewhere and got something to eat for myself, because I can't pick up the prescription until the morning, until CVS opens.
Right.
So that was my one window to eat and go to sleep.
Oh my God.
So 2 hours later, obviously it's negative. I was livid. I was in pain again. I go home. My mom tries to make me something, and it was like, it just felt like such a waste of time. Like I feel like all I got out of that was like medication and steroids. And the steroids obviously really helped, but like, this is really long, but it's been such a annoying week.
Yeah.
And I think that was just so annoying, where I was just like, it's not that. And then the test wasn't that.
Yeah.
And I missed my window to eat, and I got home, I tried to eat. It was so painful. I couldn't fall back asleep. I stayed awake until CVS opened to get my medication so I could fall back asleep.
Yeah.
But it was just
the ER is so tough, because I feel like I've had so much experience where the doctor, you can just tell they're so over it. And like, you're like in so much pain, and it just feels like they just like have a script in their head, and you're like, no, like this is actually like what's going on. And I know myself, and they just won't hear it. Yeah.
So really, really frustrating. Because I was already there for 3 hours waiting. So I was there for we didn't leave until like 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, no, it was obviously a really unsettling and like honest. Well, hello, voice crack. It was a very honest conversation I had to have with myself, and I only took them for like a day, and I was already better from the steroids, but it was just like miserable.
Really?
I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it.
You weren't worried?
It was worse than my boobs. It was like,
oh my God,
it was worse than anything I've ever felt. So,
but you weren't stressed at all taking it?
No.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to be out of pain. I wasn't like trying to get fucked up.
Right.
Like
you're like, I'm trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
So.
And I also just don't like what it does to your stomach. Like I was already nauseous after.
Oh really?
After eating a whole meal. After I was like, oh, shit's so fucking gross. Threw it out, but it was just like, oh my God, I needed something.
That's horrifying. But what's also horrifying is what happened at the Oscars.
Okay, you really wanted to talk about what happened at the Oscars.
I just feel as a hottie and a Megan fan, I should touch on it.
Okay.
And I know that I probably shouldn't, but
no, you can do whatever.
I mean, like everyone said what needed to be said. For those that don't know, Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo were interviewing Megan Thee Stallion at the Oscars, and Hannah was like really excited, and she was like,
which we'd slay, by the way, if we were on that carpet.
Girl,
do you want to talk about that? But
I do want to talk about that, because I just like, it's my dream to like just like be in a vicinity with Meg in a work setting. I'd love to be in one of her music videos. She's going to be on this podcast. I'm going to be very professional when she's on the podcast. I'll fangirl in my own head. But I know she's like used to that, and I don't want to like freak her out, you know?
It's like when Gaga comes on.
When Gaga comes on, like we're going to keep our cool, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And they're going to feel safe and loved anyways. But she was like getting really excited, and she was like, when I listen to your music, I want to fight. And everyone was like, oh, that's not. And then Megan like kind of shut it down, and she was like, yeah, but you're throw that fighting out the window, and then you realize you're a bad bitch, you don't need a fight. Like she totally like
she flipped it.
Clocked
that's
it.
good.
Yeah. And like Hannah was just like so excited and like doing a lot, and she apologized. She made an official statement on her Instagram story.
She's just probably trying to be funny though. Like in my personal opinion, like, I don't think it was necessarily that deep. Like I'd be so annoyed if that was me and I was just like something that I blurted out accidentally and I had to make an apology video about it. But I get
tough.
it.
Yeah.
Like Megan is like anti-violence boots.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I do have to say, if you're a fan, like she always says she's too pretty to fight, and they didn't even know she was an Aquarius, which is like kind of crazy. It was just her birthday. But I digress. But I will say, like, everyone already said what needed to be said, but it did remind me of in college, and we've like touched on a different on this, but like in a different font. But in college, I was friends with this Nigerian woman, and she was like 6 foot, very stunning. And I'm describing the way she looks because when we'd go to parties together, girls that like looked like me, like white girls, well, they were always like shorter, but they were always like, yes, queen, slay. Oh, slay. Oh my God. Yes, queen. Yes, yes. Oh my God, I'm dying. Like, oh my God. And we were like,
That's the overcompensation boost that I always get too.
That's what I was literally. And
Yeah.
it was like, it felt like that watching it. I feel like, I don't obviously know what was going through Hannah's head, but I think there was some like overcompensation. I don't know. Like, cause
No,
like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
cause she would always be like, Kate, go get your people, because it was just like, it was so like the girls would like come up to us and they'd be like bowing down, they'd be like screaming, and she was just like, it was so much. And yeah, it made me think of when we talked about how, was it gay men that come up to you and do that, or who comes up to you and does that?
Gay men and women, but
And
yeah,
they just like are just like, you're so hot, and you're like, I know, but like,
Well, I don't even think it's like the you're so hot or like anyone who like recognizes me from the internet. Like, I think it's like bystanders, like especially like gay men, like who don't know about me. It just, for me, it just reminds me of like immediately getting clocked. Like if I'm anywhere and someone's just like, yes, mama,
like, stop.
like snapping,
Yeah.
she's like, yes, tall God, like doing it to, like there's IMG models in the room,
Right.
There's people that are just as gorgeous as me, and I don't see you snapping. I'm
Right,
like,
and doing like flips.
If
You're
you're
like,
doing
chill
flips,
out.
you're like on your hands and knees,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they're literally doing the worm. You're like,
seizing.
okay,
I'm like fucking doing push-ups, pull-ups,
Yeah.
and burpees
Literally.
at the same time.
Yeah.
while farting.
yeah, like come on now.
So it's just that. It's I don't know.
It was so like walking into any party with her in college. The girl I was talking about was just like, it was so crazy. And they're like, get it, girl. And we were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I also like wasn't comparing, the situation, but I
No,
think
but it
that,
was like different font.
It is a different font of like
Yeah.
I can understand overcompensation or like people's reason to feel like they need to overcompensate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely something.
Yeah, but like, if I were to interview Megan on the red carpet, I was thinking like, she just came out with a new tequila line.
Oh, we should try it.
No, I know. I was like, how would we? But we couldn't make a joke about that on
Oh
the
my God.
carpet.
Yes, we could.
We could have when she's on the podcast, but I feel like on the carpet, it would be like, she doesn't know that we're sober. I always wanted to know like what her favorite song is on her most recent album and like why. What was her favorite song to record? What did she have the most fun? What was she most excited about? Yeah. All questions I'm gonna ask when she's on the podcast.
Well, speaking of our idols, my idol has an album coming out tonight in 1 hour.
Are you excited?
Lady Gaga, Mayhem.
Are you freaking
I'm
out?
It's my first Gaga album I'll be experiencing sober. I mean, at least,
Oh my God, big deal.
because the first one's I was a child, so obviously I wasn't
yeah.
drunky. But
Right.
the last one she released, I remember having like bottles of wine and be like, I love Gaga.
Oh my God.
But now I'm gonna be like, oh, holy, this is like a sobering childhood experience.
Wait, she's probably gonna drop music videos too.
I think this is my first Gaga album as Trevi too.
Really?
This is, like, a big
She hasn't
deal.
dropped an album in that long.
5 years, I think, since 2020. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was like right before I like started transitioning. So
Okay, this is a big deal.
this is a huge deal.
Girl, the sounds are about to go bananas.
Girl, the sounds are about to go insane.
I know. God, you gotta work with her.
Yeah. I'm
Come
saying.
on now.
I am saying.
Make it happen.
Oh, I have a bone to pick.
Oh my God, please.
I have a bone to pick with Paige Camerlin.
Okay, me too.
We were leaving Tahoe
Okay.
and we landed back in LA
Mm-hmm.
and we landed on like the tarmac and we were getting out of the plane and I was like telling Paige, I was like, this is like the Von Dutch music video. It looks like the Von Dutch music video because there was just like planes everywhere and we were on
Right.
the tarmac. So then I start whipping out my phone and singing Von Dutch.
Right.
I was like, I'm just living that. And then I flipped the camera to Paige. And have you ever seen the Von Dutch music video?
Yeah, she like.
Where she like grabs the camera
Yeah.
and she's like, ah.
It's so good.
It's one of my favorite fucking videos
Really?
ever. It's like,
Cute.
I just love really artistic ideas like that are just
Yeah.
like so not ever been done before. Like,
Yeah.
How do you get an entire airport for your music video? That is so slay.
Wait, literally?
Like, and it was a real airport.
Was it really?
Oh my gosh, rented out like an entire airport and airplanes and like crazy. Like that must have been so expensive.
Yeah, seriously. Budget.
But Paige grabs my camera and my phone goes flying. Flying. And she didn't mean to, obviously.
Yeah, she did.
But of course, I just got this phone in January. It's the brand new one, okay? Goes flying. I have a case on it too. Did absolutely nothing. It landed on its face. The entire screen is cracked.
No.
Now. Yeah.
Let me see. Oh my God, the worst.
Yeah, I'm your number one. So
Damn.
she still owes me a drive to the Grove because we're gonna go get. I have Apple Care, luckily. But she goes. I'll Apple pay you $1,000 right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I should have just took it.
Yeah, you should have.
But I told her, I go, hey, it's okay. I paid an extra couple hundred, so situations like this can be resolved.
Right.
But I should have took the 1,000.
I know.
And then just got it replaced.
I would have felt. I know. It's like
should have been weird. Should have been scammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have tapped into your weirdo. But yeah, no. I feel bad like taking money from my friends like that when it's an accident.
Oh, I wouldn't. if it was genuinely like something that like, if I didn't have Apple Care, I would be like, you're buying me a new phone.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that is weird of me. Maybe I'm a
No,
scammer.
I don't think that's weird at all. What I think is weird is like I used to have this roommate that when she would buy soap, she'd Venmo request me like $2.03. That to me is weird. Like, just buy the soap and I'll buy like a sponge next week.
Okay, I feel like everyone has that one Venmo obsessed friend.
I'm sorry, I hate it. I'm like, I hate that. It's so
down to the nickel, honey.
I know it's so like cheap to me, and it's like I obviously like if we like go out to eat or whatever, but it's like I love a friendship where it's like I got you, you got me next time. You know, it's like
soap.
$2.03 is insane.
It's soap. It's soap. How about this? I'll get the paper towels.
It's on me, sis.
It's on me. You need
on the house.
But you know what? I mean, obviously everyone has their situations with money, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's like even people that I know.
No, it's always the richest.
They do not need.
It's always the richest.
You don't need that.
They'll hit you with a Venmo request the second you like put food in your mouth, and it's like, all right, relax on that.
Like it's actually insane.
Yeah, it is. I don't like that.
I don't know. I just felt like sharing that as a.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
She sounds remorseful.
She should be.
Yeah, she should be.
They're in Cabo right now. I'm really upset about it.
Why? Oh my God, they stay taking trips.
I wanted to go, but I was on my deathbed.
Were you gonna go if you weren't?
Go, yeah.
Girl, how do you take I like went to Miami twice in a month. I am never leaving again. How do you do it? What's your secret? Right.
Nah.
Right.
No.
What are they doing there? Just for lax? Is there a celebration?
No.
Wow.
And they were supposed to get home like yesterday, I think, which is crazy. Are you planning on going anywhere else soon or no?
I literally can't go back to Miami anytime soon due to the bombs.
What? Oh,
my bad. I meant like me bombing at a show.
Right. Is that a threat or a promise?
But I will say about Miami, I did another show that weekend, 2 shows that weekend, and like the first show, only 4 people showed up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a full set of crowd work. And I did crowd work the whole time.
Okay.
So I just like talked to the
You're
audience.
good at that.
I'm not. I've never done it. And then, so it was my first time doing it. And then the second night, crowd was like, unless you talk to them, they were not listening and they were on their phone. So I had to be like, hey, listen to me. And it was cool. So you know what? Miami, overall, learning experience.
I feel like that's a rough comedy scene to break into. So if you're out there doing that, you're skipping steps and you're doing good.
Girl, it was really humbling, and it made me like think like, do I really want to pursue stand up? Because this is just the beginning of the humility. But I do. I just God, like
wait till the backlash on your Netflix special.
Oh
that's
my
humility.
God. Humility.
What do you think you'd get canceled for?
Probably like when I think about the comments I get, it's a lot of heightism. Like I talk about short men in my set, so maybe people would be like, she's like obsessed with that, and it's like it's just funny to me.
So you think it'd be a bunch of leprechauns yelling at you?
I think because that's like what it is right now.
I think.
No, because that's like what it is. Everything in my set is like very much like not offensive.
Okay, we need to change that.
I know. I got to stir up some controversy.
Guess what?
What?
You know how I've been saying? I know I've been saying I want to go to Italy, like to see Trevi Fountain.
Yeah.
But like in general, I've been dying to go to Europe.
Okay.
And I feel like the only 3 places I've ever been going to in the past like 2-3 years, New York, Cabo,
Right.
and Hawaii.
Right.
The big 3. And
big
don't get me
3.
wrong, I'm blessed that I can go to
Yeah.
these places and experience them, but like we're not getting any younger.
I'm ready to go to
There's
Greece
so
when
much
you are.
of the world
Yeah.
that I have yet to experience, and I feel like I'm spending so much money on going to like Hawaii. Like my
Yeah.
flight home economy middle seat was like $1,200 because it was New Year's. And I was
Bye.
like, that could be like an entire
Yeah.
hotel for a week somewhere.
Yeah.
So I pulled the fuck it button, and at the end of this month, I'm going to London, Madrid, and Malta.
Are you serious?
Swear to God. So I'm gonna do some sessions in London, and
Oh
work
my God,
there,
so pop
and then
star.
4 days in Madrid. Have you seen the men in Spain?
Girl, they're so hot.
I'm not
I'm
gonna lie. I'm not
jealous.
gonna lie. I switched my location on Hinge,
As you should.
and I just took a peek.
so hot.
It was insane. And then Malta is just like this little island off the coast of Europe and like in between Africa. And
Oh my God.
it's just like apparently gonna be so hot. I'm really excited.
You should be. That's
like,
so,
so
fun.
excited. Yeah.
Okay, I need to do that too. You know,
Like
where
just
I'm
pulling
going.
the button, and it was half the price of my last Hawaii trip.
Isn't that funny?
Half
We
the
got to
price.
start going to Europe.
Okay, should we get into questions?
I'm begging.
Yeah.
Introduce.
This is such a random episode.
I know. It's honestly, I like it though. Hate to say it.
Hate to say it. All right, you guys, we are gonna get into the unnamed segment that will never be named, where we answer your questions and advice and queries sent into our Instagram at 6 feet above pod. So make sure you're following us on Instagram to know when we post for questions. Okay, the first question is it normal to have sex dreams about someone who isn't the direct person you are dating? By the way, Sex Dreams by Lady Gaga, one of her best songs.
Really?
But I digress.
Okay.
Last night.
Something to listen to. I feel like that.
You're so funny.
I feel like that's all I did when I was dating someone, but I never dated people I liked.
Because why would you? You
No.
always need to have.
Why
an
would you
out
be happy
when you could be miserable?
and having sex dreams about other people?
If I wanted to go to the ER earlier, I could have.
Come
I loved
on.
rolling around in misery.
But when you're dating someone, you don't become like disgusted by all humanity. Like you're still gonna find people attractive. You just don't cheat
Yeah.
unless
Do
you want
think,
to.
yeah, right. Is dreaming subconsciously cheating?
No. Do you think it is?
No. But if a man,
My
that I
ex
w-
genuinely thought it was.
That's crazy. But if I did have a man come to me that I was dating and said that he had a sex dream about another girl,
Kill him.
you're so dead.
Yeah, no. A
You're
man.
and you just cheated on me actually.
You did, and like.
Because why would
no.
you let the dream happen?
Right, and why'd you go to sleep?
You're weird for that.
Right. I don't think it's bad at all. I think that's so normal. I think like it's normal to also like think about other people while you're having sex with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm being so serious. I really do.
It depends on the extent because
Well, yeah.
I had my first experience. Remember I was telling you about on here where I was hooking up with someone
And thinking about someone
I
else.
was literally like like trying to get to that, point where you're
Yeah.
having like a sexual moment with someone, like the end point. I like literally couldn't do it by looking at him, and he was not ugly at all.
Right.
Like stunning.
You're
man.
closing your eyes like, please go.
And I'm like thinking of somebody else. So
Yeah.
it's like it depends how often you're having these sex dreams. And are you
Right.
having them when you're awake as well? Like, are you thinking about other people when you're
Let's
awake?
talk about that.
No, because you forgot to put that in your question, ma'am.
No, because literally, are
Ma'am,
you
sir.
daydreaming?
Um,
Ma'am, sir.
I don't know who asked that.
Moim
but-
soy, but yeah, no, it's okay to daydream and dream about other people as long as it's not like, oh my God, I don't want to have sex with the guy I'm dating.
Right. True.
So don't say we never did anything for you. Next question is, how do you be yourself on social media without thinking about others' POV?
Post it. Lock your phone.
Yeah, literally,
Truthfully,
you just start posting, not even kidding. That's what helps me, and now I don't care at all, because we're in a content vortex. We're constantly throwing content. People are going to forget about. Nobody cares.
Yeah. You have to either do two options. You have to either numb your mind to hate, or you need to be oblivious. Those are the two options. I did the numb your mind moment. It's been 15 years. I've read so many comments that now it's like 95% of the time they won't faze me, especially like we've said. It depends if unless it's like a purposeful deep cut.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, you're here. This is a weird comment.
Right.
But you could either just like get so numb to it, which is not recommended, or you just don't read your comments. And I know that's like hard, especially because if you're trying to grow as a creator, you have to separate like the critique versus like actual critique versus just straight up hate. But you have to, it's also an energy. Like you have to just be like, these are not real people. Like you have to like dissociate. These are not real people. These are bots.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with my brain, but like I genuinely believe like everything I post, nobody I know sees it. So like me and Trevi are FaceTiming today. She starts playing my video out loud. I'm freaking out because I'm like, you're not supposed to see that.
So I did.
You saw it, but I'm like, but in my mind, I'm like, you didn't see that.
How's it doing?
Good. Thanks for reposting it.
Of course.
Yeah. But no, like literally, you just have to be like, nobody's ever seen it. And that's that.
Yeah.
What do you do in your situationship who didn't want a relationship, gets into one 2 months later?
He never liked you enough.
I know. And that's
but also
so hard
taxi cab theory. It's like, oh, like maybe within those 2 months he was just randomly ready. Like,
can you explain what the taxi cab theory is?
Taxi cab theory is a man can be with like a bunch of gorgeous women that are dateable women, but he's not ready for a relationship truly. But until he is, as soon as the moment that he is finally ready for a relationship, the next one is the person that gets the relationship.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Right? Like, did I explain that well enough?
Yeah, but I hate it.
It's just like a taxi. Like when you need a taxi, it's the first one.
Do women have that? Do we have that?
No, we do not have the taxi cab theory.
Right.
Hell no.
No, we don't at all.
I don't think we do.
Because we're evolved.
Our minds.
Yeah.
So.
Period. Our minds.
That's it. That's the whole sentence.
Our minds, yeah.
Our minds. But also, it's like when you let a situationship pass, I want to say 3 months, and you just let it go and go and go and go and expect, that's a form of self-harm.
Girl, I know. It really is.
That's a form.
It's so hard to let go.
Because it's like, what are you waiting for? And then every time you have the conversation and they shut you down, it's like, oh.
Yeah. And then you're like, whatever, I'll just have fun. And it's never fun.
You're not having fun.
You're actually dying inside. And we all know it. So
we all know it. Yeah.
Dying. We all know it. Okay.
I'm super grateful that we got through another episode. This is our first time filming in 2 weeks. So it's good to be back. Yeah. It's good to be warming up the gears again. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy I'm feeling better. I'm happy to see Bree. Happy for this fresh spray tan. Hello. And that's all from me.
Yeah, grateful to be back. Grateful that you don't owe anyone diddly squeak. So know that. And grateful for this push-up bra I bought. It's kind of OD, I will say.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, just know these are pushed up right now. This is not a regular bra. So, and grateful for the Patreon that you're all gonna go to right now.
I'm saying,
T's about to be spoilt. Yeah. So, pull up.
I went to a celebrity's birthday party.
Oh.
And I want to talk about it over there.
Please. It was kind of a mess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. We love you guys.
Love you.